Hello Gut Squad and welcome back to my bathroom. Today we are going to be doing a quick video about how I organize my infusion supplies. If you get infusions, you know that there's a lot of supplies that come with getting infusions. So I have a few different ways that I like to organize my infusion supplies. I like to organize in general. I like having my infusion supplies that I use at home for my own use because I do my own infusions, and I like having my separate supplies for PICC dressing changes so that every time my nurse comes each week to change my PICC line dressing, it's super easy for me to just whip out my supplies and have them ready for her even when I just got out of class and I had no time to prepare. I'm going to take you guys through it step by step, tell you how I like to store my supplies, where I like to store them, and also how I prep for seeing my nurse every week. Okay, so you can see here that I just got a big old shipment in of all of my infusion supplies, and I'm gonna start actually taking you guys through how I'm gonna organize all this crap. So the first thing I'm gonna do is get all of my bags of fluids into my little infusion supplies box here. I keep all this stuff in my bathroom, and the reason I do that is because when I'm setting up my infusions, it's helpful to have a sink really close because I have to let the saline, which is what I get infused with, it's just 0.9 normal saline for hydration purposes, I let that kind of run into the sink so that all of the air in the line can actually get pushed out by the fluids. So I like to organize everything in my bathroom for ease of use and ease of access, but also so that when I'm actually getting my line up and running, it's really easy for me to just go over to my sink and let it kind of drain off into the sink. So I'm going to start putting all of these fluid bags into my infusion supplies container. So now I'm going to take all of my 0.5 liter bags and I'm going to put them in the same container. I like to have them all in one place so it's really easy for me to find when I want to do a whole liter of fluids or just a 0.5. Normally I do about 1.5 liters a day, so I like to pair a liter with a 0.5 of a liter, and that pretty much sets me up for the day. Okay, so that about does it for all of my bags of fluids. These are by far the hardest for me to deal with because of my 10-pound weight limit. It can be really hard for me to bring them in and out. So I actually just slide them across my floor from the front door into my bathroom, and it works out. I mean, you know, at least I don't have to lift them. Anyway, so now we're gonna move on to how I organize my flushes. Okay, this is the flush box, and the flush box is super fun because I like having all of my flushes and all my alcohol swabs in one super easy spot in my bathroom. I get boxes of saline flushes and heparin flushes, and these are to flush my PICC line with. You have to be careful with how much of the heparin you use per day. I would definitely say follow your doctor's instructions about heparin use. Some people need to use more, some people need to use less. I usually don't use more than 2 or 3 of these little 0.5 milliliter injections per day because I know that it is a blood thinner, so it's possible for, you know, anemia symptoms and bruising to become more prevalent if you are using a ton of these. So just be careful if you're on heparin not to overdo it. Okay, so I'm going to be putting all of my saline flushes into one part of this box and all of my heparin flushes into the other, so it's really easy for me to find them. Okay, so as you guys can see here, I have a whole section that's meant for just the saline flushes, and then I have another section here that is for the heparin flushes. I used to have 2 separate drawers for these different injections, but I had to do some rearranging in my closet recently, and I got rid of the drawers because one of them had broken. So I'm using this system now and it's been working out really well. So yeah, I would recommend, if nothing else, that you guys try to have 2 different really well designated spots for your heparin versus your saline, because I know sometimes I do my infusion super late at night, not paying a ton of attention, frankly, and it's nice for me to just know exactly what I'm grabbing for. And I always like to keep my alcohol swabs in the same container as my flushes because I always have to sanitize my PICC line every time I do an injection, so it's nice to just have it in one spot. Here we have my lines. So these are actually the things to which I will attach myself with each of my infusions to actually like get into my PICC line. So I love these things. I try to have quite a few on hand. I do reuse them. I will usually change my lines every 2 days or so, just for sanitary reasons. I like to change them frequently, but I also make sure that I swab with an alcohol wipe every time I am applying a new line. So just keeping your sanitation is super important with any kind of infusion, especially if you're responsible for doing your infusions yourself at home. So be really careful with these guys because it's very easy to allow, you know, bacteria and stuff to build up. So if you're not changing them frequently enough, there can be a risk for blood infections, which nobody wants, trust me. I've been there. And I'm just gonna slide these guys down here with my other infusion stuff. This is parafilm, by the way. I use this parafilm to wrap my PICC line for showering. I'll have to show you guys how I wrap my PICC line sometime because it's a process, but it becomes easier and easier with practice. If you're about to get a PICC line, like, don't worry too much. It's not too involved. Next, I'm gonna show you guys how I organize my supplies for my nursing visits. So like I mentioned earlier, my nurse comes every week to change my PICC line dressing. And I like to have everything in one spot for her so that she doesn't have to go rifling around in a bunch of different boxes and bags. So I have this lovely little bag that my sister actually got me a while back, and it is amazing for storage of medical supplies. I've used it for a really, really long time. I love it. It says my name on it. Anyway, so we're gonna be putting all of the supplies that she uses to change my PICC line in this little box. First things first, we're gonna add a bunch of the flushes to this box. I like to have all of my flushes arranged so that it's pretty easy for her to identify which are heparin and which are saline. These are my lines for the PICC, the extension lines, so I'm gonna put these in the box as well. I like to put everything into little Ziploc bags, so again, it's really easy for her to identify which supplies are which. So these are iodine swabs. I'm going to put these in the bottom of my big Ziploc bag. She uses these to sanitize the PICC area, the insertion site. Next, I'm going to put all my bio patches and line heads into the big bag that's going to have all of our stuff. I like to have these in a smaller compartment, so again, it's really easy for her to find them. So these are going to go in the larger Ziploc bag that has the iodine swabs. I'm also going to put the line extensions bags into this larger bag. And then I'm going to put my alcohol prep pads into even another bag, because you can't be organized enough. Like so. And there you have it. That's my bag with many, many little bags that will make it super easy for my nurse to pick out which supply she needs. And then the last thing I need to add to this is my actual PICC changing kits. So this is what the PICC changing kits look like. They are really nice. They have the Tegaderm in them. They have some more sanitation devices in here, like other swabs, alcohol swabs, iodine swabs, and they also have like a bunch of little things such as gauze in there and the clamps that keep the PICC line down. So these are a must-have every week. I always put them like right toward the top, so again, it's really easy for her to find them. I try to put 2 or 3 in so that I don't forget to put them in one week, and then she's like scrambling, being like, where's your PICC kit? I'm like, I don't know, probably under my bed, because that's where I store my excess supplies. So yeah, this is gonna be my completed product for everything my nurse needs to have on hand for each of our PICC line changes. Well, Gut Squad, I think that just about covers it. I know this wasn't the most exciting video ever, but I did want to show you guys how I do end up storing my supplies. I feel like I've come up with a pretty streamlined system here, but if you guys have any like ideas about how you organize your stuff, or if there's any other organizational videos you'd like to see from me, please let me know. I love showing you guys my space, and I love showing you how I keep track of all these different medical things in my life, because it can get pretty confusing if you're not careful. So I like to show you guys this stuff. As always, I hope you guys are staying happy, healthy, safe, and hydrated, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, Gut Squad. Oh my god, this cat. Look at that. Look at that. Hey. Freya. Freya. No. No. Look at you Hey, no.